Rakada Yabashem, Yahweh Bashem, Rakadash. This is part two of Iconoclasm, of the so called dark white races, so called black people. So if you haven't watched part one, I suggest you to watch part one before you watch part two. Um, so part two, the Renaissance period. So the Renaissance is a French word that means rebirth. Um, So basically, this was when the Edomites were coming back into rulership, um, pursuant to Revelation, um, pursuant to Revelation, the 12th chapter, which I'm gonna get here shortly, which I'm about to get here now. Just duplicate that. I can just put it up. Revelation, these, pretty sure it's under the 13th chapter. Um, so Revelation, the um, should I read from the Revelation 11 chapter? I think I'm gonna read. So basically, I'll read Revelation the 13 11 verse. So Revelation the 11th verse, and it reads, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake like a dragon." So the other beast, or the other beast, the first beast was the the Roman Empire, but this beast is talking about America. So two horns like a lamb, basically saying it appear it appears that none threatened, right? Um, America have its life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Home of the brave, land of the free. Um, and they're like appearing that they're there to help the people. Um, they're not. They speak as a dragon, mean their legislation. They're pushing the agenda of the elite bankers. Uh, they come up with all these legislation, the you know laws, um, you know that that's not according to the laws of the Bible. Furthermore, the 12th verse, and he exercised the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Right. So that first beast was um, the Roman Empire. Right. He exercises the power. When we go in that word exercise, it means to um, when we go into that word exercise, it means to perform. So he performed all the power of the first beast. Um, and that will he'll just the Roman Empire. They fell around the 96 AD. So that when Jake took over and continued on in the pagan Roman Empire, but around the 325th AD, when Constantine came and he established what is known as the Holy Roman Empire, right? Because um, I have here a kind of article that um, go over Constantine and Christianity. So right, um, right. So Constantine is best known for being the first Roman emperor to embrace Christianity. Although he may have continued in the pre-Christian belief and along with the code. So, um, so Constantine, he was like, he was even though he was involved in mainly pagan worship, but like these sun gods, he was involved in the pagan worship of the sun god, but he you know he he did eventually he established the Roman Empire. Um, he established what is known as the Holy Roman Empire, um, which was established upon the tenets of Christianity. Even though he was pagan himself, um, incorporated pagan things into it, which was a shift, right? Um, into J root, yeah, into J. So it was a shift, um, which when we go back to that, um, to the Revelation, the Revelation, the 20th chapter, verse 7, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of prison, right? That's 1,000 years into the future, coming up into the early mid 1300s and the 1400s, around the Renaissance period, early stages. This was 1,000 years where they would close up and shut off in prison. Eventually, they would come back to see the whole world, right? And which they did by destroying you know, the images, the image and icons of the so-called black people. Um, and and that um, right here as it's in this article, and we know it was the Renaissance. It was the rebirth of the Caucasian family coming out of slavery once more and being empowered. This is why the prior era was called the Dark Ages, and it was because the dark races were ruling, right? These so-called the Israelites were ruling. Um, you're right, and right. So, uh, right. So when going to the bourgeoisie, because Christianity say that the Jesus was white, but as we got right here, the which title root a white depiction of Christ. So the which is Caesar Borgia basically. So it said that the root of this image lies in one man, the infamous and at the same time famous Caesar Borgia. And you can read all about it. His life was from circa 1475 to March 12th, 1501. We you read about his life and please. So yeah, right. So as you read, the image was supposed to recreate his son, um, to deceive the whole world. Coincidentally, Caesar already had a connection with Leonardo da Vinci, and apparently was his. So, so basically, it's just going in all about how Caesar Borgia is the image, of the so-called Jesus Christ, um, which is not, which is not how the so-called Jesus Christ, and his name not Jesus Christ. His name is Yahweh Shah Hamashiach. Um, but it's what it's in that Caesar Borgia is is not the is not the actual God of the Bible, right? Or the actual anointed of the Bible. And as you read, we're gonna go more and so here is like what Christianity believe and how Yahusha would have looked like if he was on the earth, which is false and deceiving. Um, and borderline idolatry, which is idolatry because they're worshiping a false god, which is Caesar Borgia. Borgia. So right here you have you know the verses that were explain how Yahusha Hamashiach would look like, would have looked like. All right, right. Revelation 1 verse 13. Um, in the midst, midst of the seven candlestick, one like unto the Son of Man, clothing with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the papes, um, with a golden girdle. Right. So this is John, who saw um, you know the Hamashiach standing behind the menorah. You know, he will run a priestly robe, which reached down to his like feet. Revelation 1, chapter 1, verse 14. His head and his hairs were like were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Right. So when you're gonna word woolly, you got it from the 1950 dictionary, which means to describe Negroid hair. Right. So woolly is covered with dense, often matte and or curly hair. Woody like lambs, woody lambs. So right. So his like this God goes all into it, how Yahushua Mashiach looked like in the appearance. Um, his eyes was red because he drank wine, right? Right, right. In Revelation 1, verse 15, his feet like unto a fine brass, as if they burned into a furnace. His voice as sounds of many waters, right? Because he had a deep voice, right? So basically, like that. So his feet was his feet was a brownish color because as um as brass is getting like hardened as it began to turn reddish, brown in color, red, uh, brown in color, right? So we have this version of a dark skinned, white, woody haired, red adamant man, right? Which is the image of Caesar Borgia. Right. So this is how the Hamashiach would have looked like. Well, would look like he was um, on the earth today. Right. So when we go into that word iconoclasm, you know, started thinking about like who are the people that are in the so-called who are in the nation of Israel today, because it is not the so-called black, it's not the so-called Negro, Native Americans, and Latino, um, Dominican, all of them of today's society. Um, the people who rule who are in the nation Israel today are the Amalekites, which is they are descendant of Esau, so they are Edomite as well as he have proved right here that they're now in modern Israel. So like right here, and as you go furthermore, um, the group identified with the Amalekite included the Romans, the Nazis, the Stalinists, ISIS, Palestinians, you know. Um, because as it says in you know, you know, no one bring to prove that um, you know, Esau is Esau. He's trying to he really trying to he's trying to like ruin or trying to destroy like the whole nation. He's trying to very hard to get rid of all the history, all the evidence that Israel, um, you know, Israel was in power. So they go all the way back to Genesis the 25th, 23rd verse, and it reads, "And the Lord Yahweh Shah said unto her." So this was when I believe this was when Rebecca was pregnant, and it reads, "Two nations," and the Lord said. Lord Yabashasha said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manners of people shall be separate from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the other shall so the younger, right? Two nations referring to the nation, the Edomite nation, and the Israelite nation, right? And furthermore, 23rd, 24th verse, um, to the fourth verse, and it reads, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there was twins in her womb. And 25th verse, and the first came out red all over like a hair garment, and they named they and they call his name Esau, right? Because furthermore, and it read 26th verse in there, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 3 score years old when she bare them. Right. Um, and to prove that that because the Amalekite they profess themselves as the modern day Jews, in which they are not. They are not Jews. They are fake Jews. And I can put that right here in the Revelation, the second chapter, verse 9. I know thy words and tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan, right? The Amalekites in Israel today, they profess themselves of being Jews, which, is just again another deception, um, which they are not the Jews of the Bible. You know, and this is why they are referred to they are referred to as um, the border of wickedness. All right, let me see. Do some searching. All right, Malachi 1 chapter verse 4. Whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord, how much I shall hosts they shall build, while but pull down. They shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh shall have their nation forever. So indignation just means the Lord righteous anger against um Esau Edom. Um, he's the border of wickedness. He was born to do wicked. That was the his road. Um, that was his road to play. Um, all right. Um, um, Slocky. Trying to see if there's anything else I want to bring out before I close out. But yeah, so the whole iconoclasm of the black people, began when after that 1,000 years, when Esau Edom was coming back into power, to deceive the whole world, um, with its cultural, with its religions, um, and they did that by, whitewashing the images of, the so-called black people, and by naming of all these different names, the proverbs, the bowers, and the derogatory names, um, and, and by, you know, having all these laws, the unrighteous laws about, like, all the stuff that, we can do, we can eat and all that. So he's only in power for a short time, um, you know. And I actually want to get one more before I close out. Before I close out, mm, I want to get out work on paraphrasing. Whoever lead into captivity must go into captivity. That was in Revelation, the 13th chapter, verse 10. Let's see. Revelation verse 10 and read, he that leads into captivity should go into captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Hear the patience and the faith of the saints. Right? So Esau will be going to captivity, and he'll be in captivity forever. All right. So I want to say, honor and praise to Yahweh Shabbat Kakadash. Until the next, Shalom.